Throughout the Gospel of John, we hear about all these different Jewish feasts, because Jesus is the fulfillment of each of these feasts. And so we hear about the Feast of Dedication, or Hanukkah. And it's a dedication, the Feast of the rededication of the temple. What happened? Well, first we see Solomon built the temple, and then a few hundred years later, the Babylonians came in, destroyed Jerusalem, destroyed the temple. 70 years later, the exiles come back, and then they get permission to be able to start building the temple again. Okay, so the second temple. Then, several hundred years later, the Greeks come in and they put up the abomination of desolation, this idol on the altar. And this goes against everything that Jewish people believe. And so Judas Maccabeus comes in this revolt, and they come and they drive out the Greeks from Jerusalem, and then they have to re-cleanse the temple. They tear down the altar, they tear down the desolation of the abomination of desolation. Then they also tear down the altar and put the stones of the altar in a place to be decided when a prophet comes and tells them what to do with it. And then they rebuild the altar, cleanse the temple, and rededicate the temple. And that's what's going on here. This is that feast just a couple hundred years before Jesus, that they come and they're rededicating the temple. Well, Jesus says that he's the new temple, right? That tear down this temple, destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will build it up. He's talking about the temple of his body, that he is the temple. He is a rededication of this temple. And so he goes through here and he's saying, see, I am the new temple. And then the other thing that really struck me in this gospel is, how long are you going to keep us in suspense? And that's what we often ask God, right? How long? How long, O Lord? How long before COVID goes away? How long are you going to keep this evil, allow this evil to go on in the world? How long, O Lord? What are we supposed to do? How long before you tell us how we're supposed to act, what we're supposed to do? And he says, I told you. I told you. What did he tell us? Complete trust and surrender to God. Oh Jesus, I surrender myself to you. Take care of everything. So often, though, we feel like we have to be in control. And Jesus says, no, I've told you over and over and over again, trust me. Jesus, I trust in you. Jesus, I trust in you. That we're to surrender into the hands of God our whole lives. May we turn our lives over to the God who is love itself, who loves us so deeply, so tenderly, so intimately, so passionately. Let us turn our lives over to the God who is in control of the whole universe. And in that surrender, he will transform the world.